What no one knew was that Kelechi wasn't just a copper. He was the only son of one of the wealthiest men in Nigeria. Deeply moved by Nia's hunger for knowledge, he arranged, through his father's lawyers, for her to be sponsored anonymously by a charity. Nia received school supplies, a uniform, and admission into a better school in the nearby town. Mama Ife finds out that someone has taken Nia to school and accuses her of prostitution. In a fit of rage, she burns Nia's clothes, books, and nearly harms her. That night, Nia runs away with help from an elderly woman who once knew her mother. Kelechi finds her sleeping behind the village chapel, shivering. "I have a place for you," he says gently, and drives her away from Ogida. Nia enters a boarding school where no one knows her past. She wears a uniform, eats 3 meals a day, and makes friends. Her first exam result shocks everyone. Top of her class. She begins to blossom, reading literature, learning computers, and dreaming of becoming a lawyer. Kelechi keeps in touch, but still keeps his identity a secret. Years later, Nia is now 25, elegant, brilliant, and full of grace. She returned to Ogida not as a servant girl, but as a law student, social worker, and founder of a Girls Empowerment Foundation. She came back with a legal outreach team to offer help to widows and abused girls. She wore a beautiful Ankara dress and spoke softly yet powerfully. The villagers watched in silence, many not recognizing her at first, but Mama Ife did. After Nia ran away and eventually rose to prominence, life began to unravel for Mama Ife and her daughters. Left without her husband, who passed away from an illness shortly after Nia's escape, Mama Ife struggled to survive. The farm that once fed them dried up due to neglect, and the respect she commanded in the village turned to whispers and judgment. She grew older, slower, and lonelier. Her health declined. The same villagers who feared her now avoided her. Pride kept her from seeking help, but regret haunted her daily. She would often sit outside, staring at the road Nia once took, whispering to herself, "She was just a child, and I destroyed her joy." Tega, the eldest stepsister, dropped out of school after becoming pregnant at 20. The man who promised her marriage abandoned her. She moved to a nearby town but returned with her baby after facing rejection and poverty. She became bitter, echoing her mother's anger. Fola, the younger one, tried to chase a city life, working as a maid, but was mistreated and returned to Ogida as well. Without education or direction, she struggled with depression and envy, often telling people, "It should have been me." When Nia returned to the village, not to mock but to serve, she visited their home. The clay walls were cracked, the roof leaking, and they were looking all tattered. Mama Ife knelt before Nia, trembling, ashamed. "Forgive me, Nia. I don't expect kindness. I only pray you don't carry my sin with you." Nia gently lifted her, saying, "I let go of your burden long ago. The only thing I carry is purpose." Before leaving Ogida again, Nia ensured they had food, clothes, and access to basic health care through her outreach program. She even offered Fola a small role as a library assistant as a second chance to rebuild. Tiga declined any help from Nia, still holding on to jealousy. But deep down, even she knew Nia had become the kind of woman the world remembers. A quiet rooftop restaurant in Abuja, just days before Nia's national award ceremony. The city lights twinkle in the distance and soft music plays in the background. Kelechi sat across from Nia, visibly nervous for the first time. She noticed. "You're fidgeting," she said with a smile, sipping her zobo. "Are you okay?" He cleared his throat and reached into his pocket. Instead of a ring or letter, this time he pulled out a leather wallet and a folded newspaper clipping. He placed it on the table between them. Nia looked down. The headline read, "Billionaire Chief Obina's only son chooses rural NYSC posting. Nation wonders why." She blinked, then looked up slowly. "What is this?" He spoke gently, afraid to break the fragile trust between them. "My full name is Kelechi Obina Okonkwo, son of Chief Obina. He owns the Obina Group, transport, oil schools. My father is one of the richest men in Nigeria." Nia's smile faded. "Wait, you? A billionaire's son? The boy who gave me chalk and sat under a mango tree to teach me letters?" He nodded. "Yes, I wanted a life away from entitlement. I asked to be posted to the most rural place they could find. That's how I met you. She was silent. Nia leaned back, searching his eyes. All this time, everything you gave, everything you did, was it out of guilt? No, he said quickly. It was out of conviction. I didn't see a poor girl. I saw brilliance, fire, destiny. You want a project, Nia. You were a miracle in motion. She turned her face away, emotion swelling in her chest. Do you know what it felt like to believe no one saw me, and then someone finally did, and that someone was a prince hiding in plain clothes? She exhaled sharply, wiping a single tear. I'm not hungry, she whispered. I'm overwhelmed, not because you're rich, but because you never used it to control me. You let me rise on my own feet. Kelechi moved closer. I kept it secret because I wanted you to see you. The warrior, the woman, the voice. And now that you've seen her, I want her to know the truth. He placed his hand over hers. You're more than worthy of love, Nia. And now that you're whole, I'm not offering rescue. I'm offering partnership. Nia looked at him, heart racing. She remembered the beatings, the hunger, the tears under the mango tree. And now here sat the man who had lifted her without ever making her feel small. Not a savior, a seed planter, a protector, a friend. Finally she smiled. Not the smile of surprise, but of deep soul-level peace. I don't care where you come from, she said. I only care where we're going. As they stood and embraced under the Abuja stars, two very different lives collided, one from riches, the other from ruin, both now rewriting destiny together. At a national education event in Abuja, Nia is awarded for her work in rural girls' empowerment. Standing in the crowd is Kelechi, now in a fine suit. After the ceremony, he approaches her. You've become everything you were meant to be, and you're the reason I believed I could. He kneels, not just with a ring, but with a letter, one he wrote when she was 14, saying, One day you will shine, and I want to be there when you do. Nia and Kelechi marry in a modest but beautiful ceremony. People from cities and villages attend. She becomes a voice for voiceless girls, opens a foundation in her mother's name, and builds a library in Ogida, right where she once stood barefoot. When asked how she survived, she always replies, Pain gave me fire, but God sent someone who saw the gold in my ashes, and they lived happily. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment for more interesting stories like this.